The Batfamily is a network of like-minded crime fighters who operate in and around Gotham, with Batman as its head. But just who makes up the Batfamily? I'm Adam Andrews with Top 10 Nerd, and let's break it down as I attempt to explain the Batfamily tree. Alright, so as the whole name of the Batfamily might suggest, this group of like-minded individuals surrounds itself around one central person: Batman. First appearing in Detective Comics number 27 in May of 1939, Batman, as most of you know, has been a key player in the DC universe pretty much since it began. As for his family, well, let's start off way back in the good old first days, the golden age of comics. This is the Batfamily as it was before the whole DC universe first got reorganized, the first time. So it's also, technically, in the modern continuity, the Batfamily of Earth 2. So, when Batman first showed up, he was caped crusading all by his lonesome. No parents, no butler, no nothing. Bob Kane and Bill Finger, the Batman creators, alongside Jerry Robinson, decided that Batman needed someone else, and so they created the very first member of what would become the Batfamily in the form of Richard Dick Grayson as Robin the Boy Wonder. Robin first appeared in Detective Comics Volume 1 number 38 in April of 1940 when his birth family, the Flying Graysons, were accidentally killed and Bruce Wayne took in the young lad and trained him on how to fight crime. Batman and Robin operated as a solid two-player team for a long while. Now back in those early golden age days, Batman actually became an honorary member of the GCPD, and with that, Commissioner James Gordon, who also first appeared at the same time as Batman in Detective Comics number 27, became part of the Batman family. Now you can kind of count him, you can kind of not. It really depends on the era that we're talking about. But not too long after these three were operating as a well-oiled unit, we were introduced to another pivotal figure of the Batman family. Quite possibly the sticky glue that holds these traumatized and broken crime fighters together. Alfred Pennyworth, Alfred Beagle, or simply Alfred the Butler was introduced in Batman number 16 in May of 1943, acting as the #1 supporting member of the team, or group, or whatever you want to call them. Now, following this period of time, we start to shift towards the Silver Age of comics, and that's when, thanks to public pressures and scrutiny at the time, Batman, Robin, and the Batfamily were given 4 more allies in the form of a dog, Ace the Bat Hound, appearing in Batman Volume 1 number 92 in June 1955, a Batman-worshipping magical 5th-dimensional imp called Batmite, who appeared in Detective Comics Volume 1 number 267 in May of 1959, and the dynamic duo were given female love interests in the form of Kathy Kane, Batwoman, first appearing in Detective Comics number 233 in July 1956, and Betty Kane, Kathy's niece, and the first ever Batgirl, appearing in Batman number 139 in April 1961. Now, these additions to the Batfamily didn't last incredibly long, as editor Julia Schwartz took over control of the Batman comics in 1964 and got rid of Batwoman, who was seemingly de-lifed, Batgirl, who retired, Ace, who also retired, and Batmite, who was expelled from this dimension, as he thought the characters were too silly, especially for the new stories he wanted for the Batman character. So instead, Schwartz worked alongside the 1996 Batman TV show producer, William Dozier, in order to introduce a new female character. Barbara Gordon, who first appeared in August 1951, was introduced as the new Batgirl in Detective Comics Volume 1, issue 359 in January of 1967. As the daughter of Police Commissioner Gordon, it improved upon the previous Batgirl and Batwoman and let Barb kind of stand as her own character, not simply as a love interest, which is usually a good thing. And that kind of makes up the Silver Age. The current Batfamily members all started to make moves in their own ways throughout the Bronze Age. Other characters like the villain Catwoman, or Selina Kyle on Earth 2, the Golden Age character's Earth, became a solid romantic interest for Batman, joining the Batfamily alongside their daughter, Helena Wayne, who would go on to become Huntress. But again, this would be on Earth 2 and therefore doesn't really count for what we're talking about. Now, Richard Grayson, who was Robin at the time, started to become a very important member of the Teen Titans, but that caused DC some problems as the Batman and Robin dynamic was also starting to become popular again. In order for the two things to be able to happen and work simultaneously, early on in the 80s, Dick Grayson became the leader of the Teen Titans and took on the name of Knightfall Nightwing, and the new Robin was introduced in the form of Jason J. Todd in Batman number 357 in March 1983. Jason was the son of another acrobatic circus family inspired by the Flying Graysons. Can you guess what their name was? Yes, that's right, it's the Flying Todds. Ooh! The Todds passed away at the hands of Killer Croc, leaving little Jason to be taken under the wing of Batman and join the Bat family. Now, the issue of the two Robins' extremely similar backstories left Jason being a little overlooked, but luckily for him, and for any other continuity or character issues that DC was dealing with at the time, the Crisis on Infinite Earths event had arrived in April 1985. Luckily, the family still remained largely the same after this event. Jason's story was worked to be a bit better, and both Alfred and Commissioner Gordon became more frequent supporting cast members. Batgirl Barbara Gordon seemed to kind of fall to the wayside though, as writers couldn't really figure out what to do with her. It is in the late 80s that Batman stories really hit a turning point, with both Batman the Killing Joke in July 1988 and Batman A Death in the Family starting in December of 1988, where the Joker crippled Barbara Gordon and took the life of Jason Todd, respectively. From this point, the family surprisingly seemed to actually grow more, with Tim Drake being introduced as the new Robin after he deduces the true identities of Batman and Robin, which took place in the Batman A Lonely Place of Dying storyline from Batman number 440 to 442 in October to December of 1989. And Barbara became an information broker and Batman's girl in the chair as Oracle, fully revealed in Suicide Squad Volume 1 number 38 in February 1990. The next addition to the Bat family would be introduced in Batman's Sword of Azrael number 1 in 1992, where we meet John Paul Valley, otherwise known as, you guessed it, Azrael, who becomes Batman's apprentice and even takes over his role in the 3-part Batman Knightfall crossover event starting in Batman number 492 in May of 1993, that sees the Venom-enhanced Bane break Bruce Wayne's spine. Azrael really stirred things up as Batman. He was much more violent and unethical than Bruce is, and as such caused the Bat family to kind of break apart temporarily. Tim Drake went off alone, Jim Gordon stopped working with the Bat, and Bruce stopped being interested in recovering from his injuries, forcing Alfred to walk away from his position. But Bruce obviously recovered and took the Batman mantle away from John Paul and temporarily gave it to Dick Grayson during Batman Prodigal from November 1994 to January of 1995. Everyone went back to their original places and Azrael came back and would team up with Batman from time to time. Two more members to the Bat family became introduced around this time as well. Helena Bartonelli, the daughter of a crime boss, eventually became the new Huntress in the post-Crisis mainstream universe, first appearing in Huntress number 1 in April of 1989. There was also Stephanie Brown, who was a friend of Tim Drake and daughter of the supervillain Cluemaster, who started off her vigilante career as Spoiler, appearing in Detective Comics Volume 1, number 647 in August of 1992. Gotham was struck by an earthquake and became a no man's land for criminals to run amok in Detective Comics number 719 in March 1998. And with that, the Bat family sprung into action. Helena took on the role of Batgirl to strike fear into criminals, but it resulted in a confrontation with Batman that Helena failed, so Batman instead handed the Batgirl costume and title over to a friend of Oracle who proved helpful in the start of the No Man's Land event. That would be Cassandra Cain. Cassandra is the daughter of assassins David Cain and Lady Shiva, and was bred to become the perfect killer, and she is actually one of the greatest martial artists in the world, even rivaling Batman. Alongside this new Batgirl, Batman called on all members of the current Bat family. That's Dick Grayson as Nightwing, Tim Drake Robin, Barbara Gordon as Oracle, Azrael, and even Selina Kyle Catwoman, alongside the Bat family supporters of Commissioner Gordon, Alfred Pennyworth, and Gotham City physician Leslie Tompkins. Together, they all successfully wrestled back control of Gotham City, so yay! That's good. After this point though, the team remained unchanged until the death of Azrael, which was really a turning point for the family. Batman distanced himself away from the team and started working with Sacha Bordeaux, Bruce Wayne's personal security and eventually Batman's crime-fighting partner, introduced in Detective Comics number 751 in December of 2000. The two are framed for the death of Vesper Fairchild though and go to prison, where Bruce escapes and Sacha gets blackmailed into becoming part of the secret organization mission called Checkmate. Now after this, a gang war breaks out in Gotham and Batman gets help from former League of Assassins assassin Onyx Adams, who helps out becoming another member of the Batfamily in 2004. This is also when Stephanie Brown rose to and fell from the Robin mantle and was seemingly killed. But not really. This led directly to Batman number 635 in February of 2005, otherwise known as the start of Batman Under the Hood, which saw the shocking return of an actually not dead Jason Todd as the extremely violent Red Hood, who joins the Bat family after causing them a whole hell of a lot of grief. From this point, we don't see any new additions to the Bat-themed family until Batman number 655 in September 2006, and the beginning of the Batman and Son storyline, which introduces Damian Wayne as the son of Bruce Wayne and Talia al Ghul. So yes, the addition of a surprise son left things a little tense in the Bat family, and when Batman was quote-unquote killed and sent to battle through time by Darkseid in 2008 to 2009's Final Crisis, it left a vacuum that became a battle royale across Gotham in the storyline Batman Battle for the Cowl. Some of the Bat family struggled to find the missing Batman, while others fought to take over the mantle. A final battle between Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, and Tim Drake ended up with a victory for Dick Grayson, who became Batman once again, promoting Damian Wayne to the mantle of Robin and forcing Tim Drake to become Red Robin. It's around this time we get an all-new Batwoman in 52 number 7 in August of 2006. Now while the Silver Age Batwoman was Kathy Kane, the new Batwoman mantle is taken up by the army brat Kate Kane, who is a lesbian expelled from West Point due to her sexuality. Now she is Bruce Wayne's cousin through her father Jacob Kane, who is Martha Wayne's brother. It is after this that Stephanie Brown is indeed still alive and she steps into the new position of Batgirl from Cassandra Cain, who went on to become Black Bat and haunts my nightmares. In Batman and Robin number 16 in January of 2011, Bruce finally realizes that despite all of his lone work and brooding, he was never actually alone. So he decides to expand, and as Bruce Wayne, he reveals that Bruce was the beneficiary behind Batman's technology, and that Batman's reach would go worldwide as Batman Incorporated. But then we got the New 52 in September 2011, and it all didn't matter anymore. Essentially, New 52 for Batman sets him back to being an undercover urban legend, only being publicly active for 5 years. He has an alliance to Jim Gordon, but the GCPD are still hostile towards him. Dick Grayson still operates as Nightwing and was the original Robin, but never took on the Batman role. Barbara Gordon is Batgirl again, no longer wheelchair bound. Tim Drake is Red Robin and founding member of the Teen Titans. Jason Todd is still Red Hood and he leads his own team called the Outlaws, and Damian Wayne is Robin. But now, to make things more confusing, in DC Rebirth in 2016 and DC Infinite Frontier in 2021, a lot of history is reworked back into continuity. So, to clean things up for the Bat family, during Bane's takeover of Gotham City, he snapped Alfred Pennyworth's neck in front of Damian Wayne. It broke the Robin and he went rogue, leaving and eventually returning again as Robin. But while Damian was gone, Tim Drake took on the Robin role yet again. Barbara, who became Batgirl, stepped down to become Oracle again as the physical strain was too much on her spine. Stephanie Brown and Cassandra Cain stayed as Spoiler and Orphan respectively, but they were collectively known as Batgirls, which is confusing. And Kate Kane stayed as Batwoman. A new hero, the metahuman Duke Thomas, became the Signal and came into the Bat family starting as the leader of the 2015 We Are Robin gang. John Paul Valley stayed as Azrael, Helena Bartonelli became Huntress once again, and what may be a surprise to some of you, Harley Quinn also joined the Bat family, making amends from her time as a villain and under the very watchful eye of Batman. And with that, my dear friends, we have reached the end. Now I know there are a few minor Bat family characters I have glossed over, so why don't you eager little nerds jump down to those comments and fill us in on any you wish I mentioned. As always, don't forget to drop a like if you liked it and subscribe even if you don't want to, here at Top 10 Nerd. I've been your host Adam Andrews, and until next time, peace out my lovely nerds.